Welcome back to another episode of Under the Rug Podcast, where we get deep into them topics that you like to sweep underneath the rug. Yeah, we exposing you. We said it. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about it. It's your co-host, Cam, at CK3 The Thrill in the social media world. I'm joined here with my boy.
You know what I'm saying? Honorable T-Note in the building.
Yes, sir. Honorable T-Note. Like we always say, man, subscribe to the podcast, follow the podcast, like the podcast, comment, all of it at UTR the podcast. Hey, engage with us. We want to know what you got to say. What we getting into today, bro?
All right, so today we're going to talk about a very important question. What is the culture?
Do it for the culture.
You know what I'm saying? But what
do people?
What does it mean?
I think everybody always says it though, like, oh, he doing it for the culture. But I see a lot of different types of people doing it for the culture. Mm-hmm. So are we talking about the same culture or different culture? You know what I'm saying?
For the top,
you know what I'm saying? What is the culture?
Doing it for the girls?
So I want to focus on, what is the black culture? Because I know at one point in time, the black culture was a sense of community, right? Mm-hmm. And I know in a past episode, we've talked about where we headed as a black community. But the culture is different from the black community. I think the culture used to be the black community. I think about black culture and I think about the entrepreneurs that came out, a certain sound of music that brought everybody together, the cookouts, the unity for a purpose, the survival type mindset of getting it out the mud. And when you do it for the culture, it's like you representing all those people that came before you. I can't say that's what the culture is anymore, though.
I mean, we talked about this before when we were talking about, is it too easy to be famous?
Facts.
And I just really think that, like I said in the first episode, we're headed to not being in a community and we're allowing it to happen. Because when I hear, the culture, what I think people are trying to say is, of course, black culture. You know what I'm saying? Cookouts, Martin, Kendrick Lamar.
Art, all that type of stuff.
But the thing is, we have to, one of the main things that's holding us back is the culture. Because you look at it as like, we've talked about before all the affluent black people who have came out of the community, who have made a name for themselves. And I've also talked about how they forget everybody else on their road to, rags to riches. Right. But I just think that we don't really look deep into things. And I also think that, especially, the Jim Crow South under the Mason-Dixon line, you're dealing with all these racist white people, and you'll just hear racist things all the time. Right. And so right now, we're like so reactionary to everything to where we don't even want to address our issues. No. We even say stuff like, defensive. Yeah, we say stuff like, there is no black on black crime. Like, it doesn't.
Big cap. It just happened in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So now I think what you said right there was the culture is leading us to not have a community. At one point, black culture created a community for us, right? Black culture was really big for us. It brought us together. It was a sense of unity to help us evolve, to help us get some of these things that we wanted so that we can have more rights, more freedom. I think over time now with our generation, the black culture is starting to hold us back. And people might call me a coon because I said that, right? They're saying, oh, you're generalizing black people. This isn't what we represent. No, I understand exactly what you want us to represent, what we used to represent, what we say we represent, but it's another thing when your actions don't match your words.
And you're going to be diplomatic about it. I'm going to generalize these Negroes.
When your action don't match your words, it's like, okay, we say we are this as a community. We stand for this, we stand for that, but then we out here killing each other. We out here pants hanging below our waist. We out here wearing these Pooh Shiesty masks just because, even though it's 130 degrees outside, you feel me? But we mad when people start describing us like that, when this is all they see.
I've talked to this about before, and you know this. I was living in South Memphis until 10th grade, and then I had to go move with my dad. But while I was living in South Memphis, my mom got sick of me going to like ghetto schools and them feeding us, hot Cheetos with cheese melted on top and Kool-Aid pickles and letting us watch Hustle and Flow. So she decided.
Swerve ride. Hey, that's y'all hard though.
I mean, not for a third grader. I'll say that. But she's like in 7th grade, she started making me go to school in Mississippi. And I remember in Mississippi, they used to say the most racist stuff. And it's also why I'm like so desensitized to racism. You know what I'm saying? Getting called the N-word in broad daylight and nobody care. And I remember they used to say things like, oh, we're playing in Cordova. You know, in my brain, I'm thinking like a black school. And they're like, oh no, you can't go there. They're gonna shoot it up. Blah blah. And I remember, you know, thinking like the teacher saying that, like not even like the teacher warning them, like, hey, we're playing Cordova. You guys might not want to go. I remember thinking in my head, you know, what I'm saying, wow, that's racist. Then I started living a couple minutes down away from Cordova. I was shell shocked to find out they were cripping in Cordova. There were people signing up for gangs online. Like I talk about that a lot, and people be thinking it's like just me being funny,
but no,
but there's no reason. And like, of course, like I always say this: there's other cities that have issues, other communities that have issues. You can get from Mississippi to Arkansas in 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Why do we have 10 gangs? People, it's a gang. It's a whole bunch of people. All of them in gangs ain't from nowhere.
Nah, that's facts.
Like you live across the street, like I say, from Walgreens. You know what I'm saying? You live in a 3-bedroom house
because they want to be accepted.
You live next to an old white lady.
They want to belong. They want to be cool.
It's white people running, and you gang banging.
Nah, you feel me? And I think what you said is crucial, right? I'm trying to remember what you said. It slipped out my mind, but it's crucial. It kind of goes to the point that we need to protect the real black culture. You know, and I think now, man, this is slipping my head right now. Okay, just came back to me, right? Yeah. People joining the gangs, things of that nature because they want to be accepted. People talking about, you know, when you say this and that about the black community, you're a coon, whatever. There is good in the black community. Yeah. There's a lot of good in the black community. But people want to say that we have a lot more good than bad, but we praise and we worship the bad, right? And that's what we put in front of everybody.
What's some good things you like about the black community?
Good things I like about the black community? Bro, don't do this, bro. Bro, I love the black community because at the end of the day,
I'm going to say Megan Thee Stallion legs.
Hey, bro.
That last Kendrick Lamar album was cool. LeBron James.
Beyond that, what I love about black culture is the sense of pride that we have as a community. Right, we have a pride in our roots, and we use that as a driving force and some fuel to go accomplish things in our life. Bro, I love a lot. Bro, it's a lot I love about the black community. It's hard to put in the words. It's hard to put in the words, bro. It's like just the. I want to say the mindset, but it's like. I also think about the negative aspects of the black community a lot, right? So when I say the mindset, I'm talking about the grind mindset of getting it out the mud and wanting something better for your family, wanting something better for your community. I like that. I mean, I just feel like it's more love in the black community than some of these other communities. I just don't think we show our full capability.
I'm gonna just keep it a buck because I feel like I've dealt with this, you know what I'm saying? Because you know me in real life, and I'm super, you know what I'm saying, pro-black. I rock with the Negroes, but then I talk about, you know what I'm saying, our issue, like
and I you know what I'm saying, I love black people too. I ain't no coon.
We love
our culture. We want better for our culture and our community. That's why we hop on the podcast and we say the things that you sweeping under the rug.
I'm sweeping under the rug
because at the end of the day,
I love black people.
Exactly. Hey, if we don't address these issues, we're never gonna move forward. And that's the point blank. Like I think it's two types of mindsets that I've seen in the black community. It's the we don't have to change, they just need to accept us. And it's the we're not going to change, right? We're gonna keep our identity as black people, but we're also going to understand that there are some things that we just cannot do if we want to move forward as a people.
And then there's also the folks who just really do hate black people and do anything.
100%. There's definitely black people like that in the community. It's like, yo, the only thing black on me is my skin.
The only reason I'm going to say this is because I feel like people always say, oh, you know, people talk about deficit thinking towards black people, and they talk about, you know, black communities being underfunded and whatnot. But I'm going to say this. You can feel on the hot seat about me asking you what you like about the black community. I'm gonna tell you this: there's not much to like, if we're being honest. Like I'm like maybe Bowie, Maryland. Like you showed me that.
Shout out to my boys up there in Bowie, man. Most affluent black neighborhood in the country.
But like you look at like the first two all black neighborhoods in America.
Orange Mound
Orange Mound. I think
But-
Harlem probably get gentrified by now.
So here's the
they need to go and gentrify Orange Mound.
No, they don't, bro. Because here's the thing: Orange Mound, once upon a time, was black culture. It was the culture. My mom grew up there. A lot of my family grew up there. I hear stories about how the community used to be, how you used to be able to go to your neighbor and ask for this, or kids used to be able to play outside all night long.
I live in the mound.
Hey.
I ain't asking nobody for nothing.
It ain't the same no more, man. It's not the same no more. And I think it's because we've shifted our culture, which is now redefined black community, right? We don't come together anymore. Everything's competitive. We can't, it's terrible in the city of Memphis. We can't even celebrate each other. Why is the rap game divided in your own city? Why?
Because everybody want to be that top dog, and then also there's a lot of scarcity thinking when it comes here, because people feel like, oh, if you on, it's not room for me. You feel me?
Exactly.
Like, oh, if you signing everybody, it's not no room for me. If you doing these shows, if you working with these people,
then it
it's
ain't.
not enough
I
for
can't
me.
eat, and that's the issue. Me.
Like, and I'm gonna bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Because people, sweep this under the rug, and then if you talk about it, you can get popped. You look at the Yo Gotti and like Young Dolph stuff. Like, that was a crazy era. People just
you was either CMG or paper up.
People just straight up dying. People straight up beefing. Like even people who ain't really got nothing to do with like the original beef between the two people, like really causing smoke to the point where like you go out of town and ask someone. Tell someone you from Memphis. Oh,
I'm telling you,
rock with CMG or PRE.
That's
like,
all people used to talk about at school or like in the DMV. I'd be like, yeah, I'm from Memphis. They'd be like, oh, okay, you rock with. Nah, they'd be like, who the real king of Memphis? Yo Gotti or Young Dolph?
Next time I'm gonna just say Elvis. I'm gonna say Adele. Yebba. What's?
I'd be like, ain't no king of Memphis, man. It ain't no king of Memphis. How you gonna be the king of the city? Like, what does that even mean to
How
be
you gonna be the king of the city and your alma mater ain't got, no computers?
You know what I'm saying? About to shut down. Ain't no king of Memphis. Ain't nobody king of Memphis, man. Like, it's dominant rappers in the game.
Jerry the King Lawler. That's the king of Memphis.
But the issue is, man, like you were saying, I think you hit on something real big when you were talking about the me getting on, not enough room for me. Black culture is shifting because we care more about ourselves now than we care about our community. And it hasn't always been like that. When we were being more oppressed, it was like, yo, this is all we got, right? We're going to lean on each other because this is all we got. It ain't like that no more. People get a little bit of money, they start acting funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I used to be with y'all Negroes, but I ain't that kind of Negro no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm the Negro that they let come into the house and come into the top floor of the office, and they don't get nervous when I come around because I can start my car from my key. You know what I'm saying? Those type of people forget about where they come from, and now it's like, yo, I'm just trying to make sure I'm straight. As long as my people straight, like, I pray for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I might throw a little donation your way, but at the end of the day, we don't care about each other like we used to when we ain't have nobody but each other. So I think that's why the culture's changing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, like, we can go back to, the question, what is the culture? It's just, honestly, it's hard to define, just because most of the things that, are so great about us, we're not the ones making money off of. We're not the ones getting rich off of it. Like, of course, there's rags to riches stories, but it usually is attached to a white man lending out you money. Like, here you go, Negro, go buy some bezels and chains in a box top Chevy, and people signing these crazy contracts. And then I've talked about this before, like Sony, UMG, and I think it was another one. They have, business with people who have stock in the in prison. And like a lot, like those contracts.
I think what you just said about prison, real quick, I think incarceration is becoming our new culture.
Yeah,
and that's
go to jail.
That's a big.
Don't snitch.
It's a big issue in America, though. I think that gets swept under the rug a lot. Like,
they got to keep the jails.
You know what I'm saying? They got to keep them full because honestly, prisons are one of the main things that fund America. And it's the new Jim Crow, I think it's called, the book and the documentary. But it's crazy how much money they're making off these prisons. And so if people actually took the time to look at that, it's no surprise that they're ensuring that black people stay incarcerated. And that's one of the things I know we've talked about. Is it a generational curse or a crutch? That's a curse. The prison system is a curse for black people. So like you were saying, with these artists getting these big deals, big contracts, they're not seeing a lot of that money. But we think they see a lot of that money because they got the chains and all that. And then they go to jail. Free YSL, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Free YSL. It was depressing seeing that. But it's just like nothing's going to change because people always say, oh, I'm, you know what I'm saying, trying to get these people out of a bad situation. But how are you trying to, I just don't understand how you can say you're trying to get somebody out of a bad situation or you're trying to change your situation if, you know, you get out of that situation and then move to LA and you still rap about killing people and you still rap about fighting my demons.
You're just doing it from a different location. You're just not doing it from the block.
Like Gucci Mane went and signed all them boys in jail. I think Big Sky got out, you know what I'm saying?
He had to go sign some more because of it too.
and it sucks that like we keep seeing this and we just act like it's normal. We just like, oh, it's bumping, you know. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They cool. And it's even at least, you know, the women that are selling their bodies, at least they're just selling, you know, vagina and booty, and they're not going to jail. But it just sucks to see the minstrel that is us. I feel like black people really haven't had culture, like I said, since Motown.
So what do you... Hey, we ain't had culture since Malcolm X.
Bro, we ain't had culture.
Maybe we need to bring back them...
we ain't had culture since Michael Jackson with dark skin.
Maybe we need to bring back them old outfits they used to wear or something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll bring back the culture. Because they used to be putting it on.
The thing is...
Them 3XL suits.
All the schemes that white people came up with to keep us in chains worked. Divide the black family. You know, make them all compete with each other.
Because it's like they gave us freedom, but they made sure we didn't gain power. Like we got the freedom, but we never gained the power that we fight for now. And so I think that's the next step is, okay, we have freedom. Now it's about how can we move together so that we have power? Because until we truly get in these positions of power, and like I understand we had Barack Obama, and like, you know what I'm saying, I understand we're still checking the list on the first black this, first black that, but like the first ain't gonna do nothing good for us. Because that's just checking the box for America. It's like, oh, you can't say we've never had a black person hold this position anymore because so-and-so did it. But it's about being able to continue holding those positions if we actually want to push a real agenda. But I don't think enough of us are being ambitious enough to go get that. So people talk about the culture like, yeah, we have doctors. Yeah, we have lawyers. Yeah, we have all these business people, CEOs, successful entrepreneurs, right? But we don't put the spotlight on that. And so you want to say I'm generalizing the black community when I say our culture is us wearing Pooh Shiesty ski mask and doing donuts and infinities, you know what I'm saying, all through traffic. That's what I say our culture is. Now you're saying you're generalizing. I'm like, no, this is what we post. This is what we give to the public eye. So if we do have good in the community, why don't we show that good? Why don't we praise the good? You want to know why? Because it's not popular. It don't sell. It's not going to get you them likes. It's not going to get you them followers. It's not going to get you them retweets. And so I don't want to hear I'm generalizing if you're going to be a part of that community that pushes that agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to talk about the issue, especially here in Memphis. Oh, Memphis is a terrible city, crime, this and that, this and that. So why don't you change it? Why would you be a part of something that you can change? And
you can tell they want us to go to jail and kill each other.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't know how true this is, because I remember when the news came out, but how anybody can just have a gun. They don't even need a license.
Bro, there's so many different gun laws. I don't even know.
It's so many guns out here. The other day, I was outside of my apartment building, and it was just a kid walking around with AR-15, like regular, like, oh, what's up, y'all? Like
it was something in the news where like somebody dad was getting arrested. It was like a 4-year-old dad was getting arrested, and the dad told the 4-year-old to shoot at the police. Here in Memphis, bruh, shoot at the police. You know, and it's crazy. Like everybody talks about gun control, right? And I'm gonna get political right now. I typically don't get political, but I'm gonna get political right now because they think one side pushes gun control because they want guns. That's silly. They don't push gun control because they want guns. It's not the case. They don't push gun control because they know if guns became harder to get, then it wouldn't be as many guns in the black community. And so the looser gun laws are, the more they can push these guns into our communities, and the more we can pick each other off. Yeah. But we don't focus on that, though. We focus on, and rightfully so, the mass shootings, the school shootings, rightfully so, terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, people shouldn't have access to those weapons, but it's another agenda that a certain side has when it comes to reducing gun control that I think we sleep on.
And I feel like I always go back to this, and sometimes I feel like a broken record just talking about it, but just talking about, you know, who are the biggest voices in our community? Like, who do we hear the most?
Yeah.
Who has the most influence on the kids? And it's always going to be the rappers in my eyes. Like, I truly feel that way. Because, say, for instance, you look at a community like, you know, Cordova, and you got kids, you know what I'm saying, still gang banging, still want to be hard, still want to struggle. And we talked about why kids want to struggle. But people always say, oh, bruh, you're not going to listen to a Pusha Ice song and want to shoot somebody. No.
Not if you got sense.
But I'm a 16-year-old, and I have poor conflict resolution skills, and I see who all the girls like, and I don't feel confident within myself, and I have, you know what I'm saying, mental health issues that I don't understand, or I have PTSD, or just emotions that I don't know how to express, and every song is, let's shoot them in the mouth. Like, I'm gonna be like that. Like, I'm gonna feel that. You feel me? Like, I'm really gonna wanna do that. Like, you listen to these 4 songs, Raw Wave, NBA Youngboy, Lil Durk, G Herbo. They're not happy.
I ain't listening to no G Herbo, bro.
They're not happy.
I ain't playing that G Herbo.
I mean, whoever. Like, who the happy rappers?
That boy G Herbo is not rapping.
The Baby was, he was shooting people, but at least he was kind of happy.
Chance the Rapper.
They clowned him.
But they clowned him.
That last album, they roasted him for making a happy album.
Cold World, but they clowned him.
We don't have a
honestly, I'm thankful that we have a Drake.
I'm thankful we have a Drake. But even with Drake, it's just like he looked at us off. Oh, Drake the type of guy that says, geez Louise, or whatever.
Exactly, because you know what I'm saying, and even Drake
still be with that gun talk sometimes.
Man, Drake say he got shooters. Drake ain't doing that.
We know he not about that life, but it's just like he still has to conform. And I'm glad, like, you know what I'm saying, he started making house music. Maybe that'll change the culture. Yeah. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, a different type of music will be put out, because I say, for instance, I'm a part of a creative collective called Unapologetic, and they have like a lot of great artists that, like, I'll talk to people about, and they won't know who they are, and I play a song, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool, but you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna play it in the club, you're not gonna play it when you work out, you're not gonna play it, you know what I'm saying, when you in the whip, you're not gonna play it when you throw a party. So it's just hard for people to listen to it.
They get disqualified.
And it's just odd to me, because, like, say for instance, Memphis is like the home of like so much different music. Yeah. And I remember we had watched the Elvis movie, and you were talking, and you were like, hey, bro, was Beale Street really that black?
You feel me?
But the thing is,
and I know it's a movie, but still,
Beale Street is so honky tonk now, because we don't touch those genres of music. We don't listen to that. We don't listen to blues. We don't listen to rock. Like, we gave that to the white folks. The white folks was like, you know what I'm saying? I like that little move.
I like that little sound, yeah.
Mick Jagger said, I like that little foot move James Brown doing.
Let me get that.
And, you know,
and now they prospering off of it, and that's a great point. So what do you feel like we can do to get the culture back to where it needs to be? Because I'm all about, you know what I'm saying?
Pessimistic right at this point. But.
I'm a football player, so I'm all about culture, right? Because I believe if you have a goal that you want to reach, the only way that you're going to get there is having a good culture. You know, and I think if we want to win as a black community, as black people, then we need to have a championship culture within our community. And one of the biggest things that contributes to culture is mindset. So what can we do to get people to buy into a new mindset in our community so that our culture can get back to what it used to be?
I mean, I feel like the biggest thing for me is just like, say, for instance, if I was someone with money right now, I wouldn't waste my time with all these old Negroes. I would put all my time and energy into creating, you know, something for kids. And a lot of people, different people do it. Princeton James does things for kids. You have Opportunity Youth. Even my dad, like, has something at the church where he pays kids to come around. Them kids don't be trying to come around, you know what I'm saying? And ain't throwing too much money at them. But you see a lot of people trying, and I really feel like that's the only goal, because I don't remember whose quote it is, but somebody said that it's easier to raise strong children than it is to, you know, fix broken adults.
100%.
Like it's hard to go around a bunch of, you know, 18, 20 somethings who are stuck in this culture saying that there's something wrong with what they're doing, because it's just like this. Say, for instance, because this is who I was normally around. If you go around a room, you know, full of Memphis Negroes and be like, hey, it's really not healthy to be playing with guns and smoking weed all day, and you haven't ate, ain't nobody done any exercise, nobody has a reason to check their email, y'all don't have no plans for the day, y'all don't have any goals that you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
It's not going to fly over well, pretty much. Let me tell you that right now. So that's really all I can think of, honestly. Just help the kids out.
Yeah,
teach one.
I agree with that a lot. We got to pour into our next generation. And I think it starts with taking accountability in the generation that you're in right now, right? Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this before, but like adults have to understand that they're responsible for some of the things they see in our generation.
Yeah.
And it's always like, oh, y'all's generation this, y'all's generation that. But they brought us up.
The generation before us was so worried about, you know what I'm saying, getting out of the situations and getting money that they left. Because we talked about that in the episode. We talked about generational crushes. We as a people think so much about grinding and getting to this money that people don't think, oh, I really have, you know, an issue with infidelity. I really have an issue with, you know, being bipolar. I really have an issue with not knowing how to treat women. I really have all these issues, but I'm gonna just go to work all day and I'm gonna leave something for my kids. This is my legacy. All this, my business.
But they focus on leaving money, but they don't focus on developing character and actually leaving examples and role models.
It's just like you come up and you're looking at someone that's spending so much time and energy doing this, that, or the other, and they're like, "Oh, look at all I've done for you. I fed you. Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm going to work all day doing this. I'm studying so I can get this degree. You need therapy."
Nah, like, man, and that's crazy. Like, my parents, both hardworking people, right? They used to work night shifts and like overtime, whatnot, to provide for me and my siblings. But in addition to that, they also made sure to instill lessons into our character, into us as students. You know what I'm saying? My dad always taught me leadership things, and as a young man, things that I should and things that I shouldn't do. And I appreciate him for that because he instilled that in me at a young age. People always ask, like, oh, how were you able to do this? How were you able to do that? My parents. Because from the beginning, they set me on a path towards success.
Coach Rich smack you upside the
head.
You
feel me?
Come back, hit
I talk back to my dad. He smacked me inside the head, you know what I'm saying? But I had no time to cry about it, like you said. Got back on the court, hit the game with a shot. That's when I used to be able to hoop. But it's like, since they instilled these lessons in me as a kid, I was able to already have a focused path. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you said, it's so hard to get that beaten down into people who have already are beyond those developmental stages. So I agree with that. If we want to change the culture, we got to give back to the youth and protect this next generation.
If you want to change the culture, think about the issues that you're dealing with and the generational curses that you're facing, and fix those before. So
nobody else has to face them because it's bigger than you.
Put your penis away until you go get therapy.
Hey, because truly, man, you do not need to bring kids up in trauma because that's how they grow up. That's all they see. That's all they know. And then we complain when kids get stuck in their environment. Put it up. But nah, bro, that's been real. Another episode of UTR Under the Rug podcast. Appreciate y'all for watching it, man. Make sure you share. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Follow the podcast at UTR, the podcast. It's the podcast, your favorite podcast, your only podcast, man. It's your boy. Follow me. All the social media is the same thing at CK3 The Thrill. Let me know what you think about what I be saying. Honestly, I don't care though, but still let me know what you think.
Give us feedback. Tell us what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, follow me, Honorable T Note. You might, if you have any like real questions about life, you might want to ask him because I'm going to tell you some nonsense. I'm really gonna tell you about yourself.
Hey man, hey, it's been real though, man. We'll holler at y'all next episode. Bet.
Ha ha ha.